Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to continue with the Capricorn season readings for our Capricorn idols, and I decided to read today for Kai. So yes, this is the cards that he got. He got the Death card, the Hierophant, the Three of Pentacles, a Strength card, and the King of Swords. And then from the Oracle of the Chakras, he got the card of Dedication. So I think that yes, there's a lot of major arcana. So this year, 2023, is going to be very transformative for him. It's going to be very important. There's a lot of like very strong and very like inner searching, soul searching kind of like instances for him. First of all is the transition, the change. I think that he's already starting to feel it in his body. He's already like very willing to this change. He's starting to like somehow get used to the feeling a bit uncomfortable with change, but at the same time knowing that it's the right thing to do. Because he has the Hierophant. You know that I often, when I read for idols, I I do associate the Hierophant with the company because it does represent like an institution. But also I think that the Hierophant is, the meaning is also about traditions, you know. And I think that for him it's going to be a year about this, about like becoming really close to traditions and accepting it, and just like accepting that it's part of his of himself. I don't know why I think that he's a guy that I believe that he gives me the vibe of this very like free soul, that he's very free spirit, and somehow his lifestyle and everything that he had like experienced in the past when it comes to his career, his individual experiences as a person, he had always had the chance to choose, and he had always chosen to be free, to be wild, to be himself, and to be appreciated for this. But I think that this year is going to bring a lot more of seriousness into his life, like in the sense that probably is going to also mean that he's going to have to mature a bit, and also get in touch with matters in his life that probably are going to be very about traditions, very like routinary, very like that it has to do with responsibilities, you know, with your role in society, with what people expect from you, and I think that he has to do it from a very I wouldn't say detached place, but I think that he has to lose a bit like he has to get serious about it, you know, like really get serious, like get even into this very practical energy, like this very also Capricorn energy, very very stable, very very masculine, but at the same time like this is not a game, you know, this is serious stuff. And I think that he will do it because he does have a side that actually he's a guy that he's very funny, that he's very outgoing. It's like he goes with the flow, but I think that in this change of in this transition that he's going through, in this change of situation, he will have to work on becoming a bit more serious, and like I don't know why, but his energy needs to get darker, and I don't mean it like darker scary, but I think that it has to go to that side of becoming a very cold, practical kind of Capricorn, to become very Saturnian all of the sudden. Because wherever he goes, he's not going to go to entertain anyone. He's going to go to play a role. And I think that probably he does get a lot of like, I wouldn't say warnings, but there's like a sort of like information that comes to him, like, like in the form of advice. Like, okay, when you go to do this certain like task, please be concentrated. Like, please, like, protect yourself. Like, but not to protect himself from harm. It's more about protecting his mental state, in the sense that you cannot be so open when you go there. You cannot be so smiley, or so like, somehow you have to turn a bit like more tough. um and I think that actually this is going to go really well, because I think that honestly there's a side to Kai that actually he is like this. He is very like straightforward, and he can be very determined and cold even. It's just that because he is in a industry where, charms and being like attractive, and being like, yes, being magnetic, but also like allowing people to connect with your image, not to be so closed off. But I think that he will really like adapt very well to the situation. I definitely sense a lot of teamwork, and at the same time, I probably see that before he goes, because I know that probably this has to do with the military, if he goes this next year, 2023, before he goes, actually, he has projects to do with, I don't know if it's with EXO or with some other members, but there's going to be a project. So I think that he's going to be very busy before he goes. I don't know if someone knows when the enlistment is going to happen, if there's a date already. Um, but I think that he knows it, but he's well prepared. He's well prepared. I think that um, he doesn't fear anything. He has the right mindset. It seems like he has like this sort of switch when he knows when to turn it off and on. He has this sort of switch in his personality. He knows when it's real business, and he knows when it's entertainment business. So this is something that I'm really glad. And also because I think that for him it's all about productivity, and it's all about keeping himself busy. So for example, if he ever feels like somehow like a certain anxiety about going to somewhere that he doesn't know, I think that this next months of him being busy with other projects, or with working on music, or working on releasing something, some kind of content. I think that for him it means like feeling very prosperous. I think that he's a guy that in this period in his life, he's very focused on work. Honestly, I was hoping to see a bit more about, I don't know, romance, or possibility of romance. But I don't see it here. I only see that probably for him is going to be um a year where, yes, he prefers to be alone, in the sense that I think that he wants to have his mind drama free, and in this case I think that he's very serious about it. um Probably in the past he used to be more social, like he would want to hang out with different people, and actually being surrounded by a lot of people. And now I see him like he slowly is isolating himself, because he's like getting ready. He's like getting ready in his mind, in his body, to somehow find a strength and comfort in this new period in his life. um, and also probably his mindset is going to change a lot after the enlistment. I believe that everyone that goes through this, they all really come back changed. But I think that for him it's going to be very important in the sense that he's going to come back with a sort of like a very strong vision of tradition. He's a guy that actually he's very protective. He's very protective of his people. Like, this is why I think that probably the enlistment and being on the military is not going to be um it's not going to be a hard task for him. I believe it's going to be easy, because he does have a sort of like soldier mentality. Like um, he does think like a soldier, and at the same time he is really good at teamwork. This is his moon in Aquarius coming here. Um, so for him it's like, okay, let's do this. And at the same time, he does have the potential of being a leader. I think that let's not forget that Kai is a Capricorn. So eventually, life is going to put him in places of authority, in in roles of authority. And this doesn't have to do that he has to be the leader of someone, or someone's boss. It also has to do with him becoming a boss or a leader to himself. So sometimes, people that we have like a lot of Capricorn nature, Capricorn energy, we tend to face situations or enter into scenarios where we have to become a leader, where we have to like take care of ourselves, where we have to be left alone somehow, so we can like gather our strengths and our abilities and our talents to do well by ourselves, without any interruption, without the help of anyone, just dealing with our own resources, with our own personalities, with just being ourselves, and becoming these sort of pillars of for community, for society, for others. I think that definitely here with them, the King of Swords, there's a side of Kai that he can potentially, like in the future, become a really good like individual. I think that he really loves EXO, and of course that it's part of his identity. He loves to be part of EXO, but I think that him as an individual also has a great potential to make this very strong image and popular image of himself. Um, I definitely sense that also it's like he has a lot of stories to tell. I think that probably he is in the process of somehow like putting an order to his thoughts and the way he wants to deliver his his ideas. I think that he's a guy that has a great potential, but somehow he had always been overwhelmed by others. But probably the enlistment and everything is going to give him a sort of like perspective, a sort of training and a path, and also learning new ways to adapt to routine, but also to become stronger about who he is. I think that he's going to find himself, and he's going to find out a bit more about his strengths, like, okay, what am I good at for? um, what is my desire? what what is my talent? What is something that is a weakness that I need to overcome, or that I need to be better at this? So I think that he's going to come back very mature, and probably he's also going to come back very clear about the path that he wants his life to take. Probably he's also thinking about family. There's something also about becoming like the head of the family, or becoming like, he's a guy that I don't know, was he raised by a lot of females, like, because I don't know why I feel like he is like um surrounded by a lot of female energy, but he had always been like the masculine one in his family. Or probably if he's the only son, I don't know if this is possible. Probably there's a lot of expectations about, or there's a lot of like a lot of people are reminding him, okay, you are like the boy of like in the family, you are you are the child, you are the, like emphasizing that he's the masculine. So there's this like this very strong need to also connect with his masculinity, and with a more like being more decisive. I think that Kai had always been like a very decisive person. It's just that because he had always been surrounded by large groups of people, like in the sense of like teammates and just artists, colleagues. He had always been surrounded by others, so somehow he knows how to blend in, and he was happy doing this. But as time passes, he's starting to realize that a lot of people are coming and going out of his life. There's this sense of like, oh, the people that I thought that would be by my side are not anymore. Or that people slowly are moving on with their lives. And probably he feels a bit like, okay, like, I guess it's just me. Or I guess we are not that close anymore. Or I guess everyone is entering a new stage, you know and he's also reviewing his own self. Like, I don't think this guy is lonely, but I think that probably being by himself is also going to give him a perspective of what really matters, and what direction he wants to give to his destiny and to his life. Definitely, he believes in teamwork. I think that working with others is something that makes him happy. But at the same time, I think that life is slowly pushing him to do solitary things, because he needs to establish himself as a brand. He needs to focus more on his solo projects, probably on his own image, because he's very popular. He's a guy that everyone likes, and also he's very talented, and he's someone that you can, as someone that you have Kai like your employee, or like if you have him as part of your team. He's like the kind of popular guy that he always gets things done. Sometimes he looks like he's like always like dispersed or a bit distracted, but when it comes to work, he's always very like, he knows when to focus. He knows when to get determined. He knows when to have fun, and he knows when to get serious. And obviously, this is a period of his life where definitely he has to get serious. He has to, like, somehow, like, life is like, okay, stop playing around. Like, this is serious. This is something that you really like need to acknowledge the seriousness of this that you're going to go through, that there's not going to be no jokes involved here. This is all serious matter. So for him, it's like, it was going to be like, oh, okay, I guess this is what I have to do. This is traditions. um, and I think that for him is going to be like a great experience, because I think that sometimes um, he is a bit distracted by the people around him. And also I say this because, like I mentioned, he does vibrate with this energy of being really popular. So somehow he had always been praised, and he had always been like just people took for granted that he's just good at stuff, and probably he wants to be more. He wants to challenge himself. He wants to be like wiser, and probably he's also wants to grow up, and there's this sense of like, okay, I'm no longer a child, like I'm no longer a teenager. I'm a man, and I need to take control of my life and my actions. And actually, feeling like he is going to be in control for the first time in his life of his individuality is going to give him a lot of confidence and a lot of reassurance that he's doing things correctly. And I think that he's going to be very proud of himself after all this is over. So definitely, he got the from the oracle, he got the card of dedication. So obviously he's a very dedicated guy. Everything that he puts his energy into, he does it from his heart. He definitely is someone that he doesn't give up on people. He doesn't give up on projects. He's very like he's very like constant. He definitely keeps his word. When he tells you that he's going to do something, he does it. But also I think that the destiny, like life, has greater things for him, and these greater things probably are for him alone. This has to do with that. Yes, like, Kai, we want you. Like, we want you as an individual to represent us, and for him, it's like, oh, okay, like, like moving on from being part of a group or a community to being recognized for his own value is a kind of shock, but it's very nice. For him, it's like a great process of like, wow, they like me, or they like what I do. You know, I think he had always felt like he was liked. Like it's not that he never felt the audience love, but he's like, oh, I'm doing this by myself and people still care. Like he really is amazed by this perspective, and this is probably because he's very humble. So, for him it's work. He gets involved in any project that you give him. He doesn't complain. He just goes. But I think that these years are going to be more about ownership, of him owning his power, and that everything that he had created and everything that he had been like achieving lately, it has to do with his own persona, and it has to do with his own value, as an individual artist, as a person, as a brand, as a name, and I think that for him it's going to be a great discovery, and also to become more mature. Yes, I think that like I mentioned at the beginning, there's like life being like, okay, this is serious business. This is not um something like funny, or it's not going to be always like entertaining. It's going to be tough, but you can do it. It's going to be serious stuff. So yes, guys, this is all I have for him. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next video.